So, to start this presentation, about me, Jarek Ratajski. Sorry for this stupid thing here, but in fact, it will help me to find out when the thing is ready. It's in fact the status of the machine, how it works. And I live in Lucerne in Switzerland. I work for a small company, Ingenious GmbH, working for banks and all that stuff that you find in Switzerland. By the way, you hear me, I hope. Yeah, okay. So, and that's all my Pokemons, the technologies, especially I like Commodore 64. I started with Commodore 64. Who has programmed Commodore 64 before? Yeah! And who has Commodore 64 still? Oh. Guys, I know what talk I'm going to do next. Okay, programming the real machine. Okay, you have my email, you have my Twitter. Please follow me, so because I'm gathering Pokemons, you know. And so the thing I'm going to talk today is human-machine interaction. And basically, you already seen what's the point. Since the moment I started with my Commodore, I was like, okay, this is nice, this is funny. I knew how to use keyboard. I understood how to use display. But it was like kind of limiting me all the time, till now. I never thought that, like 20, almost 30 years ago, I started programming, that in year 2017, I was still using this stupid flat screen, like here. Oh my God, how crappy is that? I am limited by this barrier, flat barrier. I can't go into this world. Why? It's supposed to be somehow done, I would say 10 years ago, but I don't know, maybe nobody cared. And this is the second problem, the keyboard. Oh my God, how slow is that? I would like to really think, and the machine should show me, should do what I want. That's the biggest limitation I see, and I can't believe you people still can somehow work that way. No, it's like, you know, people try solutions. This I haven't really seen, but it's like, I can imagine you can work like that, but just imagine moving a mouse from one screen to the other part. Won't be that funny, okay? So it's not a solution, and there are even if this limitation, right now is very important lesson for you about this presentation. I think the most important. Be patient, be concentrated. There are more problems than only this limitation. The problem is the planned obsolescence. Who knows what this is? So maybe you bought one day hard disk or whatever, and there was a warranty for 2 years, whatever, and a week after this was over, it failed. That is a conspiracy theory, but apparently it's not a conspiracy theory, it's truth. There is a planned obsolescence. A lot of hardware we buy is broken on the planned moment because the vendors want us to buy new stuff. There's a problem, however, that it doesn't only affect hardware, because it affects even us. So we are the victims of planned obsolescence, and I have suffered this. So basically, in the age 33 or 45, so everyone that is younger than this, you are still lucky. You have still warranty. But 32, that's the point. It's over. And then happen strange things like this on the picture. You get a pain in your spine. You have problems with moving. Really, a lot of software developers suffer that, especially because even I was really taken a photo, X-ray photo at the doctor, and she said I am software developer, and she knew what language I am writing. Because apparently there is a pattern, that's a Java, because you mostly write a code type in this way, and that's a Scala, because you look at the screen and say, how is this even working? And this is JavaScript. I won't comment that. So basically, the problem is, that's a lesson for you. Beware of the chair. And basically, people say sitting is the new smoking. Really, all of you that are younger, think of it, because the moment it happens to me, the moment it's too late, it's really painful. You will waste a couple of months. I say I have recovered, but it took me a lot of time, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. So basically, the way to change it we have to move developers. We have to move around. You know, I have stuff that tells me you are Jarek not moving while I'm working. I have standing desk, all that things. But you know, when I am moving, I can't code. I don't have that long hands. So that's the problem. I can't bring my keyboard with me when I'm walking, when I'm running. So I was thinking, I have to change it like somehow. So what would be IDE of my dreams, where I would spend time coding? That first, it shouldn't be limited by flat screen. I need to have screen everywhere like this. OK, I'm dancing. But I would love it to have. So the second thing, of course, standing positional best would be if I could walk around and code. And of course, I should forget keyboard somehow. The last problem, I say, at the moment, I cannot present you any solution for that, because I'm still working on that. So it's kind of bad. But I think I will solve it one day. So just not today. OK. So basically, what my dream is, I want to be in the code. And yeah, like we've heard about it we are hearing about it for 2 years. These devices became popular recently. I've seen this. I've tried it last year for the first time. The moment I tried it, I was totally bought. I realized, OK, that's exactly what I wanted to have. So basically, and I experienced something that is called immersion. So you are in this world. Why? Because it's all around you, and you feel like a part of it, really. So and especially I chosen the device. I bought this device. It's HTC Vive, because it's designed for you to walk around your room. That was the choice, because you can choose Oculus, but Oculus is mostly for sitting in one place. Of course, you can walk around, but it's like, by design, what is the most common usage. But you hear everywhere, you have position sound, so it's cool. And really, your mind is fully convinced. I have a lot of funny stories about that, but let me show you one of our colleagues who is experiencing the VR for the first time. I'm not sure how you see. So he is at the moment a pretty-looking girl with swords fighting monsters, and you will see how furious he is and how, yeah, he's really fighting. Nothing is gonna stop him. Yeah, that really works. So, OK, one second thing, how good it's working. I have one horror game, a real horror. You know, I don't play it. I tried. Basically, I tried it for the 5 minutes, and then I realized I don't have that many pens to change. No. So, no. But it's cool. For instance, if you love Minecraft, it's one of the best games converted to virtual reality's Vivecraft. And it's really cool when you go with your pickaxe or a sword and you just swing like that. So basically, I almost destroyed the floor in my house because I was digging under myself. You shouldn't do that in Minecraft, by the way. But yeah. OK, so enough about this thing being nice and funny. Let's build something. And that was my idea. I would like to build something. So the problem is, I would like to be in the code. What can I do? How to present even code in this, like letters there and there. How to do editing of stuff. If I'm going to run this code, how to do that? How to show the results in this world. So basically, a lot of options are possible. You can even run Windows inside of this machine and even use it. It's working. I would say debug is, I can imagine debug pretty well. It would be very funny, but I haven't done it yet. But I decided it's much of the problems. I even checked what's done around the world, what the people are doing. So there are a lot of experiments, but basically everybody is trying hard to do something interesting. So, but there is no, at the moment, I haven't seen any real good solution for that would really mean for me IDE, something that I would use. So I looked at something smaller. So maybe you recognize sonar screens. So I'm using this software. It's cool. I'm a consultant. I often get to the new projects. And what I do, I want to scan the projects. I want to see what are the bad parts, what are the critical parts, what are these maybe small red squares, which mean the core of the system that is really bad written. So, and if we have those maps, these rectangles. Those show, you can choose, for instance, how good the test coverage is and stuff like that. So there's even this project, 3D City. So you can really see your, in 3D, even though on a flat screen, how your project looks like from afar. So the higher buildings mean, for instance, the more code, but the red buildings is, for instance, a really bad code, something like that. You can configure it. By the way, I used this, and it was really funny. We used it in team, and we've seen a lot of funny departments inside our company that were really then targets of the further investigation. So for me, I decided I should start with something like that, like let's just only show code, because I don't write that much code. I read a lot of code. I step into the code of the team that's working on this like 2 months, and they have 2 years, and they have some problems to fix, maybe performance, and they need some new features. The most time I spend really trying to find out where I am even. So I wanted to use VR for that. So that's my mission statement. So, and basically to be more precise, let's use PMD because it's easy tool to configure in Maven, for instance, and let's visualize all these things that were found by PhD, and let me walk into that. I want to see the packages. I want to see classes somewhere in space. I like to be in space. Like, I've watched Star Wars too much and science fiction movies. So basically, it doesn't show you at the moment anything because that's what I did. It's like the constellation of classes, those green squares are my classes, and that was how it looks like on a flat area. So, and basically, I use this controller in a way that I'm surrounded by classes in packages, and I can move, like I point to the direction and move forward or backward just using this, or I can switch type of smells that are shown. Basically, at the moment, there are only 2 of them, so all different kind of smells, and one is called cyclomatic complexity. I'm very keen on looking at cyclomatic complexity. So, for instance, which classes have really nasty methods. And basically, there is even a button to show me the code. And right now, I will try to run this. So the thing is that still one of the stations I haven't yet started, but I will try to restart it. Just give me 1 minute. I will show you how it should work. So, and I will restart it like that. Okay. What's this? Still, 1 station is not really working, and I'm not sure why. Hey, you, station, you should work. So this, okay, maybe it's going to start. You see this one says to me, by the way, typically you don't move around with this stuff. You basically keep it in one place at your home configured because it takes time to configure that. And yeah, as you see, it's never enough time. So like maybe, okay, cool. So one thing to do in this every time, so I will show you the procedure just in case you need it. It's complicated. Really, setup is complicated. I didn't have time during the break. I'm configuring the stuff to be room scale. So to show where am I. So first of all, I need to stand here and pull a trigger. Okay, cool. So I need a volunteer. Łukasz, you were chosen to be a volunteer. Okay. So basically, put it on the floor, just there, and get out of the view of the base stations. Sorry, and we will press calibrate floor. It says where the floor is, more or less, okay? And right now, the funny part, take one of those devices, and go around all this square, and maybe stay here, where I am. You see the trigger, this one, and just go around, keeping it close to your head, just to mark where the area, just up, maybe like this, yeah? And go around like where the playground is. Oh, we see? Okay, cool. Yeah. It's like this. It's kind of small, but okay, and yeah, stop. Boop. Release it. Is it good enough, or we have too small? Yeah, it's okay. So we have playground. We have marked playground, and at this moment, it might be working. So at the moment, I'm going to start the server. Oh. Yeah, the code. So let me just start the server. And have you had it on before?
No.
Okay, we'll have a lesson. So I'm only checking if the server is working because it's constantly, how to call it, surprises me. Okay, it's not really that easy. I will restart the network. It's Linux. It's not as stable as, as the Windows machine. So let me restart networking once again. And what? I still don't have a code. Oh my God, it's here. Just a second. What? No, okay, sorry, just a moment. It doesn't work as supposed to. Who knows how to configure network? Restart network. I have to do it on the Linux machine, I bet. In config. What do I have here? Do I have network? Okay, it started, in fact, so it's not the problem is not as I thought. Gulp serve. I check if it's on the machine part. Okay, so this machine is emitting. Somehow the Windows doesn't see it. It sees right now. So you might be lucky. You might see something. So. Put it on. No. Yes. Okay. You won't see. Do you see something like my house? Wow. It's not the code that I wanted to show you right now, but you will see in a moment, and we'll see all together. You can take what he's seeing right now is like, maybe I will show you. Display mirror. He's seeing my house, virtual one. It's cool. It's better than the original. Somehow it's always clean. That's the biggest difference. And right now, you are gonna be trapped into the something different. Okay? You are right now in my code. Oh, basically you are in the code of Flowable. Okay. So what you see, I hope you see it quite okay. Don't touch me. Don't touch me like that.
There's my hand.
Okay, you take it in. Can you move around somehow? Yeah. So basically, what you can do you remember how to move in this? Just use the right hand, and there is this funny button above. There is this one. No. Below. This. That's kind of a touchpad.
We're okay.
Look towards some class. Do you see anything?
No.
Oh, you are lost. Yeah. You are lost in space. Oh, there are. You've seen those green planets. You've seen them.
Yeah.
Go toward them. Can you? No, not that. Step backward. But you are moving. You see? Yeah. You are right now navigating around packages. How cool. You can even touch my code. Do it. Touch one of those boxes. Not that fast. So, touch it. It's there. It's almost. Oh, yes. Now pull the trigger like in the pistol.
This one?
That below. And step back. Okay, you are just lost somewhere. Okay, step back and pull the trigger once again. oh, you see the code of this class. You've seen that? It's not really readable, but it's there.
The license.
License, of course, that's the most important part of this class. Probably it doesn't have anything. So it's called of a tool called Flowable that I am recently working on. So it's like,
Transaction state Java.
yeah, so you can look around, you can look at different constellations. You should see sometimes even the connections between classes with white lines. Okay, at the moment you are, oh, you see the white line? It says that this class is using as an import another class. So hopefully you can even travel there. Can you travel there to this another class? Oh, you see this red one? It's really bad code. It's really bad code. You press the trigger and let us see this code. Oh my God, it's like in Star Wars. Just go there. Go there. Okay, enough fun. Thank you. So basically, thank you. So I have a proposal, because that's the worst part of this. You can only enjoy it if you see it. That's on the screen, it doesn't really show. So if you want to use it, right now, Łukasz, your mission isn't finished. I will be making further presentation, and you will be helping people use that. Remember how to look around? So just maybe people in the front row, everybody that is the first three rows can try it, just be in queue. You are the responsible for managing that. So, and I will be doing further presentation, and you can have fun. So everyone, and you should basically instruct everyone how to use it. So, and let me go to the presentation like this. Okay. I only do this like poker. No. Basically, I see one problem with this tool. Okay, I will be doing very strange presentation because I want you to see a little bit of this fun that is happening on the screen. So my presentation is going to look like that at the moment. It won't be very professional. Okay, hopefully you won't be that much distracted, but let me talk about how it's done and how easy it is to do that stuff. So basically, coding for VR. First thing, so basically there are three platforms I know that can be used for that. It's Unreal, Unity, or aframe. So Unreal is a professional one. You can use it. I've never really tried it, but I've seen people using it. The Unity. If you don't know this engine and you are thinking about doing 3D game, I do recommend it. It's like a toy. It's perfectly done. And cool thing, it has everything ready with tutorials to do VR inside of that. I tried it, and really in a couple of minutes, I was able to build something that was interactive and it's working. And by the way, I see a lot of really nice done game with Unity. And the last thing is aframe that I'm going to discuss, and I say why I haven't chosen Unity. So basically, I started with Unity, and it's nice, it's a toy, but the problem is not my world. It's like, this is a huge engine that is starting. You can put your code inside of that. You can choose C# or JavaScript, that's okay, but the problems are libraries. There is a lot to learn in order to even do basic stuff. For me, it was kind of much learning VR, thinking about concepts, and then even learning this completely new environment, how to do build, how to do tests. For me, that was completely crazy. So it's even like, I would say, like application server. I hate application servers because like I am limited. I'm not the master. So someone else is a master, and I am only allowed to configure something. I hate it. So the moment I've heard about webvr, I thought, okay, it's JavaScript, probably the most horrible language you can imagine, but it's gonna be fun. So that's the JavaScript. Remember the injuries you can have with that. So basically, aframe. So what is aframe is, first, what is WebVR? maybe you've heard about WebGL, technology to display 3D inside of your browser. So there is one step further, technology to interact with such devices from your browser. So, and it's basically built on top, WebGL, okay, and this 3D stuff. So, yes, it's working, and it's basically you code in HTML, in JavaScript, you manipulate your DOM, and then you can run it in Chrome, Firefox, or Edge, or even. I haven't tried Edge, I don't believe that, but people say something is working. I'm not sure, I wouldn't count of it. But at least something started for me to work. So the cool thing is that's my world. So I basically, even though I am Java developer, as probably a lot of you, I spent a lot of time in JavaScript and HTML. How fun can that be? And what is nice, I know the debug tools because it's debugging JavaScript. I know and I tried, and it started to work with my HTC Vive. Perfect. So then what I did next is, one great thing about it. You don't need any expensive stuff to try it. This webvr works just on a regular PC. You just you don't need any Oculus, anything. You can start and build something without the devices because there is this ability, like in every 3D game, first-person shooter, you just go around pressing WASD keys and it works. It's cool. And even more, you can use this very cheap cardboard stuff or other that are specially designed to phones, so you can display it on your phone. If you have a smartphone, probably most of you have it, it's the cheapest way to go into VR. It's not that cool, it's not that funny, it's the resolution is a little bit problematic, but it's still interesting to do some experiments. And basically, for me, it was nice because I could code on like hours on the flat screen, because still I don't have this 3D IDE, I don't have this VR IDE, I'm limited to flat. And then I could try it with VR. So that was the problem, for instance, in Unity, because I couldn't find this way. In Unity, basically, I had to, every step I made, I had to put on my headset, go around with this, then put it down, go to the keyboard. That was pretty, probably there is a better way, but I haven't found it. So about it. So how it looks like, that should look familiar to you. It's basic HTML you can write, for instance, to have something displayed in WebVR. You don't need even JavaScript. The A-frame JavaScript is provided, and the rest, what is a box means there will be some kind of box displayed inside of a scene, some kind of a sphere, some plane, and the sky is maybe interesting. No, nobody else. Really, you should try it. It's funny. Okay. So, and the sky is that's in every game there is something in the background around, like stars, whatever. And this is exactly a sky. You can choose the color or some kind of the background picture, whatever. And this HTML, after starting, looks like this. This is exactly from the first page of aframe.io. So whenever you go to try with A-frame, go to aframe.io, and you see examples, documentations, and everything. It's very easy. Then you press one button, I've shown you with this, and you can look it on the cardboard. You can try it on the screen. It's working, and it's fun. And there are a lot of demos and documentations. So basically, as I said, it's easy. You build a scene with HTML elements, like entity, plane, a sphere. There are a lot of that. And you can use a lot of attributes. You can use events. For instance, touching something means like the code is displayed. You can react to events from these controllers. You have this kind of entity, which has camera controllers, so you can attach one of the things to camera. So in that case, for instance, this is very important that some parts are attached to the hands. Like there is one text displayed around hands controllers. So all like that. So it's really like a toy. You build in a couple of minutes using the documentation and some examples. You can build something that's really working. It's not even static. It's moving around. So it's interactive. And what's more, of course, you can use JavaScript to just generate elements. So in that case, in that particular case, the server is serving me JSON with a lot of Java code, and I have to present it. So I'm basically generating elements with JavaScript. So you can choose regular JS, you can choose TypeScript even, or whatever, even Scala.js. By the way, I'm a fan of Scala.js. Cool thing is that 3JS, that standard library for manipulating 3D, is behind of that. So a lot of documentation on 3JS. So for instance, how to connect two elements, how to show code toward you. So basic, I would say, mathematical stuff that you would need if you get into the 3D world is already solved for you in 3JS. You can use jQuery if you like. You can use React. There is already binding for React components with webvr. What can be cooler than that? But I used Vanilla.js. By the way, who has ever downloaded Vanilla.js framework? I can't believe that's the best framework you can have, the most lightweight in JavaScript. And I don't even use it that often because mostly I'm working with Angular or React. So for this project, I tried Vanilla.js. That was a funny experience. Really didn't try it. You should. There is really a page, Vanilla.js. You can configure which components you want, and you can download. It's perfect. So, and if, let me show. So the funny thing is, for instance, controllers. I decided I won't use a keyboard because I want to really go around. So somehow I need controllers. At the moment, editing is not solved. So basically, the controllers are more sophisticated mouse. It's a little bit complicated because there are more buttons. So for instance, this big button on top is working as a touchpad. So you can really instantly press direct your controller into one direction, but on the touchpad you can use other direction. It's funny, but it's usable, in fact, and I use this feature. So one of the problems, right now we are coming to the problems. It was easy to build this with one thing. I tried from the hour zero to start with editing code. And everything I tried was a nightmare. So there is already ready component that you can reuse inside aframe for text editing. It looks like that. Just imagine you are inside of this, and there is a virtual keyboard down displayed, and you can just use your trackpad controllers and press this keyboard. What can be more depressing than that? That's not this thing. But it's the problem. Then I tried speech recognition. And you know, speech recognition nowadays is okay, and there are even projects that make it working quite okay with Python. But wherever I tried to really edit code in Java with this, it was like for me a nightmare, because most of the time, even if I was saying something like dot, I was getting dot and then the word dot, you know, system dot out. No, not this dot. Delete. No, and it was also very depressing. And how you even put semicolon? I understand Scala. But nevertheless, the less characters you have to write is the better for you. But nevertheless, I would say I couldn't quickly build anything with speech recognition. Probably that's the direction I'm gonna try in the future. But at the moment, nothing is ready. So because of that, I built something that is very passive. You can only go around and look and not really input anything. Maybe next year I will find a way, or someone will find it, because the community of that is very rich. By the way, there are a lot of components constantly created. People are doing a lot of experiments. They publish their results. They do components that you can reuse as node modules. It's really nice, and it's very evolving. I say, you know, a month ago, I was trying to do this presentation, and it was all in so alpha stage that nothing really worked well. But since that time, it really became almost usable. I can right now imagine, really, I'm using that to look around my project. That's a real project I'm analyzing right now. I don't say it really paid off at this moment, but I can imagine that in a couple of weeks, with a few more hours investment, it will be really giving me something. Okay. So some more details about how it's done. For instance, interesting thing might be how to put all these classes and arrange them in the space, so that, for instance, classes that are close to each other in the same package are displayed in the same cluster. So how would you do that? So In fact, I previously used that funny method that I would like to describe for you, because if you don't know it, it's a pity, because it's very, very efficient. So in such cases, you can use physics simulations. What does it mean? So just think of all your classes as a particles, like they are stones or whatever. And let's do some simulation. And in this particular case, let's imagine that every Java class is a ball, and those balls are sometimes collected with strings. Yeah. So for instance, if they use import, or if they are in the same package, there is some invisible string between them. And how string reacts? So if you extend it more than the given distance, there will be some force generated that will be contracting the spring. And vice versa, if you just try to collapse it, it will be trying to extend. On the other hand, that's one of the forces that is simulated. And the second thing, really, you can really look, so especially if you haven't tried it before, try it. So there's someone, yeah, really. If you haven't tried something like this before, I do recommend it for you, because it's a different world. Even though my part is really so done, but it's still funny. So the second part, how to really disperse all those balls in space. And for that, the best thing is, let's imagine we have anti-gravity. So every ball tries to escape from other balls. So basically, that's our two most important parts of this simulation. I just put random balls inside of my imaginary 3D space, virtual space, and then I just simulate there are some strings to connected balls, and they all try to escape one another. And then with every step, they move a little bit. You can even sometimes see that those elements are moving, because this simulation is in fact working constantly. So at the beginning, I'm starting like thousands of steps of simulation, and then after that, they are somehow positioned and arranged as I wanted them to be. By the way, it takes a lot of time to really tune how strong the strings are, how strong the gravity is, etc. By the way, the cool stuff is I'm really using those equations. For instance, gravity, Newton's law is used, but in this particular case, we can call it Coulomb's law, because it's like if we have two charges, same charges, then there is in fact something that's called anti-gravity. So they try to get out of each other. So that's the thing. But somehow in this kind of simulation for games, it's often called anti-gravity. And for springs, we have this Hooke's law. It's in fact really implemented that in code. Maybe you don't see that is part of Scala doing that, but really that's this force that is used for the strings. So I'm reading the code. I'm reading PMD files with all the code smells. Like you see he's right now looking at my code. He isn't that efficient with that, but it works. And then he sees some smells. And then the simulation is run. Server is sending some kind of JSON to the client. Client is putting it on the screen. It's very easy. So maybe I have like 10 minutes, because it was just a short presentation. To sum it up, what I've learned about A-frame. So I do recommend, if you want, even if you don't have this stuff, if you want to play, it's really cool. It's really well done, and it's I would say you can have fun with that. A-frame, basically as a library, as a framework. WebVR, so fundament that helps to start all of that. So browsers, connections to virtual reality. That's not yet stable enough. I'm using nightly builds of Chrome or Firefox. Basically, at the moment, it's already implemented in stable version of Firefox, but every time I try to run it inside of the Chrome, I get some troubles. So I'm using nightly builds, and sometimes they are broken. So it's not yet, I would say, consumer ready, but if you are a developer, you have some patience, you should have developed it. So it's good enough for development. I think in a couple of months, it will be really ready for the market. So you can build something even for your customers. That doesn't have to be a code. Let's imagine you have a lot of nodes servers, and you want to see how busy is that, where's the database. You have tons of them. You can't present it on a small screen. So I was to many server rooms, and I think there is a challenge. Who has the biggest screen? So if you used it, you have the biggest because it's all around you. And you can use kilometers, you can go kilometers long in any direction. So you can present any amount of information you want inside of this small device. That's cool. You can really beat other. So if you are to DevOps, that's one of the good choices for you, trying to do something with that. And really what surprised me, the community is very, very, I would say, it's working hard, and they deliver a lot of components, they deliver help, they solve issues. I see it's all done by freaks, but it's cool, it's working. So, and about my goal, so what I wanted to achieve, okay, coding in IDE VR. So I showed you somehow that passive, looking around, it's at the moment possible, and say it's even, I think it's usable right now. I can even build a product out of it. Maybe I will do. And one problem is presenting a text as a code. I did it. You see somewhere there is a moment. I will show you. There is a text of the program displayed. It's looking bad on this big screen, and it's looking bad inside of the VR, because basically the resolution of the device is too small at the moment. I'm waiting for the next generation. For really the ability to read code without having eyes problem or whatever, without being tired. So basically what I think we need is some other alternatives. Maybe don't present a code as a big text, maybe present just nodes with methods, then something like that. The smaller parts, basically as long as it's like 6 lines long, you can present it. But if it's longer, then surely it looks bad. And so I'm waiting for the next VR, and basically the biggest challenge is how to do editing. Maybe speech recognition. I have some other ideas, like I'm trying a lot of fancy indie games. In one game was for you were particularly a wizard, and you had to cast some spells with doing a lot of gestures. And then I realized, oh my God, if I just because I have two controllers. If I connect a lot of gestures with letters or words, it might be that. I'm trying to do something like that, but I don't know what are the results. I'm only starting with this. At the moment, I have problems with performance to really measure gestures fast enough, but maybe that will be solved. So basically, at the end of our presentation, I want to say that from my perspective, it's like, okay, maybe I'll present it. It's just the beginning. It's the alpha technology. It's funny, but it's my world. That's my future. I'm going to devote a lot of time into this to really bring development to the new stage, to really get out of these 60 devices that were born in 60s that are boring. I don't like those flat stuff anymore. I need something better because, okay, we developers deserve better. So that is all I wanted to say to you today. Thank you. Are there any questions? Do you have questions? Well, that's a bad question. But it's getting cheaper. No, so, yeah?
Considered any alternative keyboards? I, for example, saw these keyboards which look similar like your two controllers, except they have buttons, and then you can use chords to write letters.
So,
and as well, I saw some other types.
So I was thinking about even having a keyboard like here, but I don't have this keyboard right now. I was experimenting with having how it's called for the I forgot how you call this. There's a replay, for instance, PlayStation or whatever. Pads, because they have a lot of buttons, and then controllers button and pads, then almost there, but it wasn't. But yeah, that is something I'm thinking, but I don't have. I have one gummy keyboard, but it's not really usable even on a flat screen. So if I, for instance, stick it to my chest, it won't be still usable. But it's a direction also possible, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Cool. So that's one of the ideas, but if you say there is something interesting, maybe send me a link, tweet me if you've seen something that I can use. Maybe I haven't seen that. Okay?
Hi, taking you have some experience, can you just do a very short demo of how you use it yourself as a professional, like for reading code, navigating through packages, etc.?
Okay, so I do a demo.
Just for 1 2 minutes, maybe after
Okay,
questions are
I'll
done.
do a demo. Just
Cheers.
so I will describe what I am doing with that. That's in fact I wanted to do it, but I wanted not to. What? Okay. That's a good question. So, okay, basically, that's a question, that is a problem that was, in fact, solved with games. So, at the beginning, a lot of games were causing the sickness. But basically, the idea is that you shouldn't move that fast. Basically, it's better if you can walk on your own, that if you are okay, you can basically teleport, it's okay. And basically, the most important, it should be the frames per second should be around 90 frames per second. You need really good machine for that. So, and if you have too slow machine, that is almost at the limits. The limits, by the way, are still high. Then you will get sickness very quickly. That's the problem. So, idea is I don't have sickness unless, for instance, I have performance problems, which sometimes I cause in JavaScript because I'm not that good in JavaScript, or if I do too quick movement. Then it happens. Okay, let me show how I'm using that. Teleportation, okay. So basically, the problem, do you see screen? Because I don't see it anymore. I am in my world. Okay, oh yeah, yes, I do it, of course. So, yeah, maybe even better if I display only one eye. How to do that? It's not really, okay, I have to display both eyes. So, you more or less should see what I am seeing. So, I look around and see a couple of clusters. So, what I have right now in front of my head, I see all the violations that I've detected. So basically, typically, I'm trying to see at the beginning cyclomatic complexity. So I want to know where is the complex code, because it typically shows me the hotspot in code. So I see there is a red class here. Is in the package org flowable engine common impl de Odysseus L3. Oh, some kind of tree Java, okay. Oh, I see there are a couple of connections to other classes, so there are a couple of imports. So maybe let me look at the code. I'm here with the code. What kind of complex method is that? Oh my God, 13. Oh, how cool. So that is something. Bindings function mapper, oh, functional programming, I see, because it's function mapper, oh cool. Then it's it's described, okay, I know. So maybe let me take a look at this red thing. I see it's org flowable engine common imp EL, so probably some expression language. There's all around me are packaged from this EL, default expression manager, JSON node, EL resolver. So all resolvers are okay, but this particular one, JSON, is kind of like, yeah, stinks. Okay, there's a couple of connections to other packages, and the code is like there. Okay, what's this? What's this method? Get feature descriptors. Oh, it's kind of smelly, but in fact, I don't see. So something was displayed funny. Complexity is 7. It's not that bad. It's complexity once again. Oh, it's not right now better. Complexity of 7. Complexity of what? Of 10. It's much. Oh my God, if, else, if, else, if. So that's how I'm using it. So I'm looking right now at some constellations. It takes a while, but basically I've already seen that expression language and the tree are potential problem, or the parser. Oh, look how many connections I have. So it's fan out complexity is horrible in this class. Okay, so I found something that might maybe take a look later just in my regular IDE, because it's still not good enough to go around. What I'm expecting to implement next is just jumping from one class to another when I click on something in code. That's basically it. So, okay. Are there more questions? I don't see any. Yeah, that's a cool idea. But that would cool, that if you don't move on your own, somebody is moving for you, that could cause a sickness. So multiplayer would be a challenge. But okay, you can move around with people if you see their avatars. You know, you have a good idea. I think it's worth it. So good. Okay, thanks. So more questions? Or there is a question still. But time is up. I don't know if I have time for questions. Okay, well, let's answer this question. And if you have further question, I'm still available. I'll be working there.
Do you plan to integrate the walking platform, then you can walk through the code?
Not yet. So Omni, how it's called? Omni?
I don't know.
So there is such platform. I'm not sure. For me, this moving with that is good enough. Like I can, because you know, if I have a really big problem, big project, walking like 1 kilometer to get to other class would be kind of exhausting, yeah. And I am often in a big project, so thank you very much.